YouTube. So let me start again. Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So today I'm going to have a special guest. My brother will be joining us, and we will be talking about the shooting in Texas, and we will also be talking about Joe Biden, the Democrats, and African Americans. I'm going to talk about a couple of things that Joe Biden has done recently uh, around issues that affect African Americans. And my brother did a real thought provoking video on TikTok, and I want to ask him about that as soon as he's able to join. But yeah, I mean, we saw this situation in Texas recently where this killer was able to shoot and kill 21 people. Most of the victims were children. And shout out to Def Rocker on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. But he killed 21 people. And we have seen this story before. You know, there have been so many mass shootings, as I was saying earlier on TikTok. In Buffalo, you had like 10 African Americans killed by a white supremacist who was armed with heavy artillery and who was wearing tactical gear. And then right after that, you had a situation in California where another killer shot a number of people. And now you have this situation in Texas. And we see this story play over and over again. Okay, I see it. Hey, it's there. So we're gonna get into it. Were you able to get the link for YouTube as well?
Oh man.
Yeah, so my brother should be joining. Yeah, I can see you. I can see you on TikTok, but I don't see you on YouTube.
Yeah, you got your Wi-Fi turned on, man, on your celly?
No, I don't have my Wi-Fi on. Is it slow or something?
Okay.
Oh.
No, you was frozen for a second, big dog, but you know, we live now, bro, so
just bear with us a second. I'm just letting everybody know to bear with us a second. We're just trying to make sure that we're streaming it on both platforms at the same time. So yeah, if you go to Facebook Messenger, you should be able to see the link, and then you can click that and you'll be on YouTube as well.
Okay.
Shout out to Covina, man. I see you on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to Def Rocker again. Thanks for tuning in. If you all can let me know if there are any technical issues, I would appreciate it because I don't want to have any problems. Hopefully there won't be an echo when my brother is able to join YouTube as well. And I'm pretty sure a few of you probably saw the live stream that we did on TikTok. I uploaded it to YouTube so people could check it out. So that'll give you a sense of what you can expect from this particular live stream right now. It's starting off a little rocky because we got to get settled with some things, but we're going to get this popping in a second. So just bear with us. Yeah, so just bear with us. We'll be started in a second. I'm trying to get my brother on both TikTok and on YouTube so we could talk on both platforms. If you are on TikTok, I want to encourage you to follow me on TikTok. And my TikTok page is New Possibility Blog. So you should be able to easily find me if you search for me. Join that page. You know, I post regularly over there. And the good thing about TikTok is you can do short videos. You know, short little videos, no more than 3 minutes. And it teaches you to convey messages. Okay, I see my brothers here on YouTube. Hopefully he'll be able to join on TikTok as well. All right. Okay, what's up?
Hey, send me another request to join, big bro.
Okay, I just sent you one on on TikTok, and I see it counting down. Okay. All right. Hopefully there's no. Okay, I see there's an echo. So what I may do is I'm gonna get off of TikTok.
I just muted.
Oh, you
I
muted.
just muted me on the laptop. I think that was causing the backup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it may not work. Yeah, so you know what we'll do? Sorry, bear with us, everybody. We'll get started in a second. But what we can do is we'll just do them separately, man, just to avoid any problems. We'll do it separately. So I want everybody on TikTok to know that we'll be back in about 30 minutes to go live over here because I don't want it to be an echo or anything like that. Yeah, so we're going to get started over on YouTube and then come back to TikTok in about 30 minutes.
Okay.
All right, man.
Okay. All right, bet.
Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get everything together. What I'm going to be doing is every Thursday, I'm going to be going live on this channel, at least every Thursday. It may change to a different day. It's likely to change, but it will be once a week here on YouTube and on TikTok. Again, if you are not following me on TikTok, I encourage you to do so. So my brother will be joining in a couple of minutes. We're going to chop it up live, hear about those two topics that I mentioned earlier. If you would like to join the discussion, just let me know and I can send you an invite. I just would need your email address so I could send that to you. And while we wait for my brother to join, I want to let people know if you have not seen my art exhibit, I want to encourage you to do so. If you're interested in seeing that art exhibit, you can leave a comment with your email address, and I will email you information about how you can view that exhibit that I did last year. It was a great exhibit about police brutality, and I have an upcoming exhibit that will take place in March of next year, and it will be about celebrating Black women. The name of that exhibit is going to be The Black Queen in All Her Splendor and Glory. It's going to celebrate Black women in all aspects, from the role of mother, wife, sister, to roles of, judges, scientists, athletics, all kinds of things. We're just going to celebrate the Black woman in that exhibit. So, if you can send me your email address, I can update you about that exhibit and also about the exhibit that I currently have available online for people to view. And for that exhibit, I actually walk people through it. I show them each one of the paintings. I talk about the inspiration behind each painting. I talk about the meaning of each painting. Shortly my brother will be joining us and we will get it started. There's so much to talk about, so many things going on. So for my exhibit that I have coming up, it's going to be a solo exhibit. Well, let me correct that. My daughter may have some of her art as a part of the exhibit as well. So, but other than myself and my daughter, there won't be any other artists featured for that exhibit. Okay, so I see that my brother's here, so we can go ahead and get it started. And then for those of you that are on TikTok, we're going to go over there and build a little bit more. All right, man. Thanks for tuning in, man. Sorry about the technical difficulties, everybody. That's the thing about going live, man. Anything can happen. Next time, I'm going to set it up so we're all set up early and, and can get right into it right on time. Yeah, man. So thanks for joining. For everyone that doesn't know, Brother Minister Speaks is my brother. Of course, I got a lot of love and respect for my brother. And, he puts out a lot of content, both here on YouTube and on TikTok. I encourage y'all to subscribe to his channel here on YouTube and to his TikTok page. He has a lot of thought-provoking content over there. And one of the things that I want to talk about is a video that he recently did. And we already talked about it offline, but can you share with people like a little bit about the concept behind the video, like what video footage you show before you get into your commentary, and just tell the people about your commentary?
Okay, yeah, definitely, man. So, man, thank you for having me on your channel. You know what I'm saying? It's always a blessing, man, to build with you, man. You know what I'm saying? I remember being the little fella tagging along, just wanting to be cool with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm at the big boys table now, so I'm feeling good. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyhow, is so anyhow, the content is there's this man, he's feeding this captive lion this meat, and the lion is fixated on the man throwing the meat. The man throws the meat over the fence. The lion doesn't pay any attention to the little morsel that's thrown to him. He's just looking at the man that's got him behind the gate, and he's saying, you know what I'm saying? And so that's the video that I stitched. And what I was using this to draw an analogy to how we need to be like that lion, where they throw little bones at us. Like we got Juneteenth, as an off day, but we asked for, the George Floyd bill, or we got these, black vice president, a black Supreme Court justice. One's black, two black, but only one of them's really a black person. But you know what I'm saying? we got sister girl as the vice president, and I'm proud of all of that. I'm not knocking that. I celebrate black excellence and achievement in areas of endeavor. But I'm saying is, where is the beef? Like the old Wendy's commercial. We still got a pipeline to prison. Where is the beef? We still have these instances of unarmed black men being gunned down, and I'm saying is we getting all happy, we inviting folks to the cookout, and and all of this kind of stuff, and we got happy about symbolic gestures, but we're not asking and demanding for practical things to be implemented to affect change in our community. So that was what my video was all about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that video raised some great points, because a lot of times, we are appeased with symbolism. You know what I'm saying? Like we're appeased by seeing certain, just for instance with Obama, like some people were just happy that we had a black person in the White House, that we had our first black president. And I understand why that is something that people should celebrate, people should be happy for, and all that kind of stuff. Because, it's something that never happened. Like all the presidents before him were white. And so it is a huge step forward, at least symbolically, to see a black man in the White House. So I understand why people were celebrating and stuff like that. And Obama, like, despite what a lot of critics say, he did do some things that were beneficial to black people. But I think that there were a lot of people that were just happy to have a black man in the White House. There were a lot of black people that didn't want to hold Obama accountable for anything and didn't want to criticize him for any reason at all. And part of me understands that, but part of me is concerned about that, because it's like, as he was telling African Americans, for instance, that he's not the president for Black America, he's the president for all of America, he didn't have that same type of attitude when it came to other rights, whether it's talking about LGBT rights or immigrant rights and all that kind of stuff. His posture was different. But that's not to say that he didn't do anything for African Americans, because I've done plenty of videos and I've written blogs where I've explained like how some of his policies have been beneficial. But the problem is you got some people that just didn't want to hold him accountable for anything. And anytime someone would raise any kind of criticism, even if it was valid, they would try to shut them down and shut them out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean that's a problem. It is a problem when we turn a blind eye. Like for instance, even with Kamala Harris, like
Mm-hmm.
people were willing to just like ignore certain aspects of her record that raised serious questions for progressives or people that are you know liberal or left, quote unquote leftist. It
Mm-hmm.
raised a lot of questions around African Americans and around her policies towards dealing with certain criminal justice issues. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that you raise a valid point. And then a lot of times we get like all excited about the symbolism, but it's like when you look at the Supreme Court today, like even once Ketanji Brown Jackson is put on the court and appointed to the court, she's really not going to be able to make any kind of fundamental difference in the outcomes on the court because she's simply replacing a liberal justice who's leaving. So she's just filling a void that's being left. And the court, for the most part, is very far to the right, man. They're taking away all kinds of rights. And it's possible that they may be taking away affirmative action. They've already whittled down voting rights and other very important civil rights. Yeah, so I hear you. I feel what you're saying around that issue. But one thing that I will say is that there are a lot of people that are highly critical of Joe Biden, and I understand why, like given his
I'm one.
past in terms of
I'm
his
one.
support. Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that, like your critique of Joe Biden.
I think Joe Biden panders to our community, and I think that he throws morsels towards us. I don't, but at the flip of that, I don't expect Joe Biden to do anything that the people don't force him to do. And I'm critical of him because of one thing and one thing only, mainly. That is, what the hell happened to that plan that was supposed to be the Democratic Party's version of the Platinum Plan? Thank you for Juneteenth. I'm very glad to see Black women in positions of power. I'm impressed with that. And I'm glad for those sisters' accomplishment. But it does not mean anything if my mans in them at these gas stations still don't feel like they have access to opportunity, if there are no policies in place that allow equity in terms of these kids having access to opportunities. See, it doesn't matter if there's a growing Black middle class, if there's a growing Black permanent underclass that's growing at exponential rates, because we'll still occupy the same economic niche that we have since the inception of this country. So it'll be an interesting study, big bro, to take a look at the percentage that African Americans have played in the GDP of this nation since independence from England. And we've occupied about the same uh, portion of the economy that we have since we were enslaved. Even though we have all of these Black millionaires and people like yourself or myself that are educated, working in corporate America and doing their thing, we still occupy the same portion of the overall economic pie of America. And a lot of that, now we understand why that was the case, you know, when there was legalized slavery and stuff. But now here we are, and people might say, well, that's personal responsibility. But no, you crippled us for 100 years after physical slavery, where we couldn't get the foothold to have a Ford Motor Company or a Chrysler or something like that. So, that's my thing. Where are those plans that you talked about during your election? Um, where is our hate crime bill at? I mean, the Asians got what? They went in there. I hate to sound ignorant, but one white guy went into a massage parlor and killed some Asians one time and they got a hate crime bill. With Gee Whiz, thousands was lynched. How many black men have been gunned down by police? Where is our hate crime bill at? And that's all that I'm saying. I don't need no other off day. What's this idea that we don't want to go to work? Thank you for Juneteenth. Right on. But put something in place that's solid. That's all that I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, man. But what's your response to people that say, well, Joe Biden, first of all, he, nominated a black woman. You touched on it a little bit, but I'm just wondering what your response would be to this. Did he nominate a black woman vice president? Did he just nominated a black woman to the Supreme Court? That he helped pass the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill and I think that's just absolutely ridiculous that it took so long for a law to be passed to stop lynching.
Man, come on, man.
All these black people have been lynched. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is recently he passed this executive order. He passed an executive order dealing with police reform on the second anniversary of George Floyd being killed. And I know that right now, he's been pushing for Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. But we know who's holding that act up. A lot of the people holding it up are Republicans. And the same is true for voting rights reform. It's Republicans holding that up. And then when you look at, Obama faced the same issue. A lot of his agenda was blocked by Republicans and all that kind of stuff. So what's your response to that?
Well, okay. Here's my response. Is Sister Girl, whether we're talking about Kamala or Ketanji, are they working black agendas? I mean, thank you. But if I have a black person in place that thinks like the white man, what difference does it make? What difference does it make to have Clarence Thomas been on the Supreme Court? He definitely thinks like a white man. So did that stop the crack epidemic in the 90s having Clarence Thomas? No. Having black skin but a white mind means nothing. And I'm not saying nothing to put those sisters down, but you're in the law field. What was Kamala Harris's record like when she was the DA? What was that? Is she really working a black agenda? This is not 1947, and we're happy that they have a Negro playing baseball. Enough of that. Remember that part in the movie Malcolm X, and he says, Brother Baines, I got to go Brother Baines on you right now.
Yeah, I know exactly.
This devil locked up 100 million of us. And now because they let one Negro run around and play a damn game, we supposed to forget that the greatest crime that was ever committed against humanity was done to us? No, sir, brother.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. I'm glad for any black person. It's like there's this Richard Pryor comedy thing when he's like, I'll celebrate any N-word that does something. I do too. But damn it, when you got man, look at the madness. Listen, we on the verge of Memorial Day weekend. Is that right or wrong? That's right.
Mm-hmm.
How many deaths gonna happen in Chicago this weekend? How many deaths gonna happen in Detroit this weekend? How many deaths gonna happen in Baltimore this weekend? How many deaths gonna happen in Atlanta? Listen, that violence is not just caused because we ignorant and drunk. That violence is caused because of a lack of opportunity a lot of times. Because damn it, if I had a job and a steady flow of revenue coming in and I had some things to look forward to, I might be just a little bit less likely to go out there with the glizzy with the extendo on there and get nasty with my mans in them 4 blocks over. I might be a little bit less prone to do that. So I'm saying it's let's keep the main thing the main thing. We can celebrate the incremental successes and we shouldn't downplay them, but We cannot forget about the more weightier issues, man. That's all I'm saying. I'm happy for them, and I'm happy. Hey, but is that going to change the agenda, the overall agenda, and how we're seen in this society? And I don't think
Mhm.
it will. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. So what about those steps that he's taken, like in terms of the executive order around policing issues, and then the Emmett Till Act? What do you think about that? Like
All right. The
those.
Emmett Till Act. Thank you for the Emmett Till Act. But that's about equivalent to me. I'm working on my my master's in accounting science or whatever, and my teacher from third grade is like, "Hey, remember that paper I gave you a C on? You actually got an A on that. Thank you very much." This too little, too late. Yeah, I mean, I know that there are probably isolated incidents of lynchings and this and that, but it's too little. 70 years. I mean, what is it? What is that? Like, yeah, almost 70, 67 years later. Now you pass the bill. Now, just like they exonerated the youngest boy that was executed in this country. I think his name was George Steiny. He was executed on death row at 14. They exonerated him not too long ago. Thank you very much. Too little, too late. I appreciate these symbolic gestures. I appreciate the executive order. But until I see something in place like this, anytime an unarmed person is gunned down, the officer should be immediately arrested and charged. And then if internal investigations figure out what's going on, then he's exonerated. That would stop all of this. That would stop all of it. It sounds crazy, but if those guys were fired immediately, they can get their job back. Just like when I worked at the plant, if you're a union employee and you get fired and it's figured out that there was something wrong going on, you get your job right back. I know they have a dangerous job, but you got a lot of racists that are cowards that hide behind that down badge, that have some serious implicit bias going on up here. If his executive order looks something like that, where there was always going to be a civilian rebuke board to look at these unarmed men getting gunned down, if it looks like that, then right on. But I don't know the specifics of it, man. You know, I stopped listening to what the guy was talking about, man, when we didn't see no tangible things going around with that plan. I mean, I know that sounds like small minded, man, but yeah, we've waited long enough. We've waited long enough. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
so
But
I hear you on that because, like, with the anti-lynching thing, and really this is bigger than Joe Biden because it's been black people have been being lynched for a very long time. For decades, black people have been lynched. Like thousands of black people have been
thousands.
lynched, and then now they finally get around to passing it into law after all those black lives were taken. And it just shows you like how this society as a whole doesn't give a damn about black life. It's like only in recent times that they finally passed this. And I do think it's still relevant. Like, I don't think that lynching, unfortunately, is a thing of the past because we saw what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. We saw what happened to Trayvon Martin and all these other black people. We saw what happened in Buffalo, where that guy went in there and went to that supermarket and killed 10 people. So, and that's nothing but modern day lynching by a different form. So I definitely think that it was needed and is still relevant. We still need those types of laws passed. And I do think that it's significant. So I won't downplay it, but I do agree that it's like over 100 years too late, unfortunately. All those thousands of black people lynched, they actually, I mean, as you know, they made these into like sporting events, basically. It was like they would actually go to a lynching as if they were going to a baseball game or a football game. They brought their children and they took pictures of this stuff and they sold postcards celebrating the deaths of black people. And here we are all these years later, they finally get around to passing this. So I feel you. I feel that.
See, don't get me wrong, man. Like I just said, any progress, I'm celebrating and I'm with it. But I want the real things. I want. It's like for instance, our late grandpa. Um, I don't know if anybody ever told you about this, but when the movie Rosewood came out, they they were watching the movie, and Grandpa had like an emotional meltdown, you know, and they asked him what was going on, and basically in his early childhood years, something similar to that, like a public lynching, happened on a basis that he, on a somewhat regular basis, to the point where he couldn't see that movie, he couldn't watch that movie because it was bringing up memories of things that he had put into the back of his head. Or look at Granny's brother, the one that was beaten to mental retardation, or how her father died because he ran hiding from the Ku Klux Klan in the woods. So yeah, okay, we passed the bill for that, right? But hey, I mean, to me, it's a great thing. It's progress, but it's like time dictates the agenda, man. How about, you know, shucks, since we going back in time, why don't you release the FBI files on Brother Minister Malcolm X with no redactions? And the same for all of the Black Panthers. And while we at it, release those Black Panthers that are still sitting in prison cells since the 70s, because you made them into persona non grata. You know what I'm saying? Like, do some of those things. Really, truly work to rectify your wrongs in a serious way. How about a Truth and Reconciliation Committee where we can really look at the impact of Jim Crow on our current state as a people in this nation? We're not doing those kind of things. And it's like, I mean, what we're doing is okay, but we need to do more. Others, like I'll mention it again, other small minority groups, so to speak, have had more done in a quicker turnaround time that's been of a greater impact. And I'm saying we can't just get satisfied with, oh, we got the Black vice president, or we got the Emmett Till bill. Hey, man, make an executive order, about all of these voter right laws that's going on. That stuff is real. That stuff is happening here in Michigan. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah, there's
But I
more that
mean,
can be
you know
done,
what I'm saying?
definitely. Yeah, I hear you, but for just so people can have some understanding about this executive order,
Yeah.
basically what it would do is create a national registry of officers. So if there was like if an officer had been accused of misconduct or had complaints against him, there would be a
Mm-hmm.
national registry. Because what we found is that police officers are able to hop from one
Mm-hmm.
police department to another, even if they have a horrible track record of committing crimes against people or brutalizing people or other
Mm-hmm.
forms of police misconduct. Also, under this policy, it would encourage jurisdictions to place restrictions on chokeholds and no-knock warrants. It would also
Okay.
restrict the use of military-style weapons. And as I pointed out earlier, Joe Biden has encouraged Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, which would create a lot of different changes. And I'll just run through a couple of those changes. It
Mm-hmm.
would restrict the application of qualified immunity. It would
Mm-hmm.
provide funding for body cameras and dash cameras.
Mm-hmm.
It will, encourage police departments to adopt anti-discrimination training. It would change the standard for use of force from reasonableness to necessary to prevent death or serious bodily injury, and it would prohibit certain chokeholds. So those are just a couple of the changes that the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act would implement if it's passed. And those are some very important steps toward addressing some of these problems that we've seen in policing. But it's you got these Republicans holding this thing up. Um, so yeah, I mean that's something that's very important for people to realize. And I think I think it's significant, but it's far from enough to pass this executive order. We need to have Congress act. And while you have a lot of people that basically say, well, Black people need to hold their vote, not participate in the political process. I think that that's political suicide. We need to exercise our right to vote, and we need to vote out people that don't support these types of necessary laws like these voting reforms and police reforms and all that kind of stuff.
Well, see, but the issue is, man, is that unfortunately, the your voice and the voices that echo what you're saying are tiny compared to the Tariq Nasheeds and these other people that are talking about don't vote. And the other thing with it is that I don't think that a lot of our people, especially the young people, understand how politics work. And then the other thing is that we live in, like, there are about 4 different Americas out here. And what I mean by that is that we have our version of America where we see things, but then these rural rednecks, they see things so totally different. And I shudder to think, like, I don't think there is a middle ground between what we want and where we trying to go and what they're talking about. These people were ready to bomb the Million Man March, but think that the people that stormed the Capitol are national heroes and patriots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
hear
it's
you, man. Yeah, it's
so
definitely
how can we can't, and it's more, unfortunately, it's more of those rednecks than there are of us. And there are more of our counterparts that will may not agree with all the extremist views there, but they're still gonna go in that booth and vote Trump. 70 million people voted for Donald Trump. That's not the old kooky uncle of the white people. That's this young white people. That's the people our parents' age. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey man, listen, that's a loud, vocal part of this country.
Yeah, definitely, man. So what I want us to do is from here, we're going to go over to TikTok. And what we're going to talk about over there are a couple of things. Like one of the topics was something that I wanted us to talk about last time, and that's Roe v. Wade.
Oh,
So we're going to talk about that because we didn't have time to talk about it last time. So I want to go back
buckle
to
up,
that
buddy. It's gonna be a rough ride.
So we're going to talk about that. So if you're not on TikTok, set you up a TikTok account so you could follow both of us over there. Because TikTok is the future, man. I think it's going to leave YouTube behind. But I encourage y'all to follow us over there. We're going to also talk about that tragedy in Texas. We're going to start off with Texas, and then we're going to get into Roe v. Wade. So with that, join us over on TikTok. We're going to be up in a few minutes. Peace and blessings. Please rate, comment, subscribe, like the video, share the video, and hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I post new content on here. Peace and blessings. Have a great evening.